Alrighty, guys. So finally, after like God knows how long, I think it's been a month or two, we finally have a new overclock simulation room, right? New rules, new stuff, and all that good stuff. I'm going to be covering it all so you guys can get the crazy rewards, right? Obviously, with new rules and stuff like that, you're forced to use a different team and stuff like that. A lot of people find it difficult to find the right team for simulation room overclock, since a lot of the people who actually do this are low power, right? Now it's natural, it's okay if you are low power, like I'm a few 100,000 powers below, but I did get the clear. All you need is 25 and then you have the max reward. So you don't need to do over the top. Anything past 25 is just a flex, right? But if you want to flex, then by all means. But yes, if you just want the rewards, 25 ratio 25 is exactly what you need. So I'm gonna walk you through the bio settings and the rules, and then I'm gonna walk you through the team, and if possible I'll try to talk you about replacements as well for some of the characters, since I'm not going to expect every single player in the game to watch this video to have all these characters, right? But make sure you guys subscribe and like if this is helpful. But let's talk about it. So obviously, let's start off with attack. I do always think the second attack, where the raptures have increased the attack by 20%, is fine. I would never go for the 25%. You could have the 15%, but I think the 20% is fine. When it comes to the defense and HP, I always have it at the increase 50% and the increase HP by 30%. The reason why I always add the 30% and the 50% for the defense and HP is because we have characters in the game that just do way more damage than they're supposed to do. I'm sorry, like Nikke has a problem where they make characters that do damage, especially like the latest DPSs, right? Cinderella, Red Hood Rappy, just Red Hood, Scarlet Black Shadow. Like a lot of these DPS characters do way more damage than they're supposed to do. So like extra defense and extra HP is not really doing nothing, at least in my opinion, because it's like they're still gonna get nuked regardless, right? And then obviously we skip these two settings. We don't pick those ones. I always pick the 30% destroy is reduced. It's nothing that's really that big of it's nothing too crazy. From my understanding of that, it's the buildings on the map, right? The buildings on the map that you're able to break. It's just a bit harder to destroy them, but that's never really a problem in my opinion, right? Obviously these are some of the new rules. So shooting distance, it decreases damage by 50% when attacking enemies outside range. Does not apply to rocket launchers, right? So this is just basically your damage is being reduced by 50%, which is fine, right? This one as well is +4, but it says at least 2 Nikkes that are shotgun must be included on your team, which is fine. And then this one right here is decreases the efficiency of attack, increased gain from Nikke skills by 50%. So basically the buffs you're getting is cut by half. They're, at least the attack increase buffs you're getting are decreased by half, which is quite crazy. But again, characters just do way too much damage. I do have this one on where all raptors are just seen as electrical. The reason why you do this is because if you have this one, then only characters who are water code basically are going to be able to do, or I guess iron code are going to be able to do something to electric enemies. So that's why you just pick the one where they're all electric. It doesn't really change anything. And then by selecting all that, you have a total of 25. So let's begin this, and I'm going to talk about the team. So this is the team that I put together right here. It's really like a meta team, right? Obviously we have our 2 shotgun characters, Naga and Summer and Niece, and then we have Crown, Red Hood Rappy, and then Cinderella. Cinderella is a rocket launcher, so as you guys seen before, a lot of this stuff is not going to be happening to her, and she's just a crazy DPS regardless. Any replacements here? Now I would probably replace obviously Crown and Naga if I didn't have them with Blanc and Noir. That way I still have another shotgun character, which is being Noir, and then obviously I still have what's her name, Blanc, who is a healer and does have somewhat of a damage buff with her AoE damage increase debuff she puts on the enemy. For Red Hood Rappy, I'm only using her as my DPS burst 1, but you don't have to use her. You can use Litter, you can use Rouge, or you can use a different burst 1 character, but I'm just using her there for additional DPS. Cinderella, you're probably going to want to replace her with Scarlet Black Shadow, right? That's really it. Scarlet Black Shadow or Laplace if you have her favorite item, to be honest. And then obviously I have Summer Niece on the team because she is an electric buffer as well, which is going to buff up Cinderella, but she's a broken DPS herself. Now, is there a replacement for this Scar, what's her name? Anise, kind of not. It's kind of hard to say, right? You can just put Maiden in there because Maiden is also a buffer. But remember, because you want to have 2 shotgun characters, you have to remember to keep like that in mind. So if you are gonna replace Summer Anise with another broken DPS, then make sure your burst 1 or your burst 2 or whoever on your team, make sure you just have 2 shotgun characters, right? If we actually take a look at the shotgun characters, you don't really have that many options, right? Unless you have favorite item like Viper and something like that. I'm not sure, but you probably are not going to replace Summer Anise. If you don't, you could replace her with maybe Privity, but I would say just keep Summer Anise there. Like this team, if you have this team, right? Summer Anise is the only one I don't expect people to have, but she did rerun, so maybe, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna go through this. Remember, all the stages that you see in this video are not going to be the exact stages that you get. You have to prioritize getting the commander ability first, then the normal stages, right? You're guaranteed a normal stage in every session. So if you do see the a session like out of the 3 where you pick what you want to do, if you do see one where you are getting the quote-unquote commander's ability, make sure you pick that. The only reason why I'm saying to pick that is because it's just like, by doing the normal stages, the buffs you're getting are not going to make a difference, especially if you're hundreds of thousands of powers below, right? Like if I get a buff, it's not going to make that much of a difference, right? It's just like, honestly, it's a waste to me. It's gonna make me slightly stronger, but nothing where it's like, oh my god, I needed to have that buff, right? Like it's gonna take my damage from 1 to 2. It's nothing too crazy, because again, we're hundreds of thousands. I think we're like 4 or 3. I think we're 300,000 power below. But as you guys can see, it's not hard, right? Like a lot of these stages are not hard to beat. All right, so yeah, this is what I would just recommend. Just basically pick the normal stages if that's your only option, right? If your characters do die, just reset and block if you need to. I will pick like obviously one of these, sure, but yeah, the commander ability test, that's what it's called. 3 Nikkes out of action, just pick none, right? Just pick this and then click if I have to. Like we can take this one. All Nikkes take 50%. Sure. Commander's ability, none. This is just a way to like blitz through it, right? Like I'm not gonna lie to you. Having that is just a way for me to blitz through the stages and get through the rewards, right? I'm not gonna want to have to fight the normal stages all the time because again, we are hundreds or thousands of powers below. It is wiser to just kind of skip those stages with the commander ability test if we possibly can. My only thing is we don't really have that like broken of burst generation with this team, right? So you kind of just gotta survive long enough. But I mean, these stages aren't that difficult. You're going to, once we get the burst skill off, then it's like we're good, right? I'm just gonna keep it a G with you. Once we get that burst skill off, we're perfectly fine. We're not gonna die once we get that burst skill off. It's just gonna take a second to get the burst skill off because the burst generation with this team is kind of like laughable. As you guys see, my red hood Rappy might die right now, right? And everybody is like not even focusing on the boss, but hey, like I don't know what that was. I see Crown attacking an enemy and only Cinderella is attacking the boss. If everybody attacked the boss right there, I'm not controlling it, maybe that's why, but if everybody attacked the boss right there, we would have been perfectly fine, but it's fine. So yeah, then we can go ahead and get whatever that is. Here I would always highly recommend, if just to get the recovery, right? 100% of the HP of all Nikkes 100% restored. And going into the last stage, as you guys can see, we're 400,000 powers below, right? But this is where like the boss is there. We're gonna be fine, right? But yeah, this is the team I would use. I did give some replacements and stuff like that. If it doesn't work out, then you can change the battle settings. But if you do have this team and you want to pick those battle settings, you guys can get it quite clear. Like when I did it the first time, as you guys see, I can't even get the rewards because I already did it. When I did it the first time, nobody ever took damage, right? I just have different stages this time. So you can also keep restarting these stages if you want, just so that you don't have that bad of a score, quote unquote, or you don't get those bads of an options. But this time around, yeah, my characters took damage. The first time around, never took damage at all. And as you guys can see, the boss is basically dead right here. So yeah, did we win? Of course we won. It's just how it is, right? Like I said, the characters just do way more damage than they're supposed to, and it's not because of those little buffs we're getting, but they just do way more damage than they're supposed to, and that's just the honest to God truth. Cinderella is a crazy DPS. Red Hood Rappy is a crazy burst 1 DPS. Crown and Naga buffs towards that, and Summer needs buff towards Cinderella. Like, sure, even though these buffs are getting decreased, it's still too much. So yeah, if you guys go ahead, you will clear the rewards and get the boom. And yeah, let me know if this was helpful for you guys, because a lot of you guys found the last 2 helpful, so hopefully this one is helpful too. Just follow those settings if you need to, and you will be good. Your boy Zxous, I'm out. Peace.